If you're 5 years away from retiring, you've officially entered what I call the delicate decade. It's your last 5 years while you're working and your first 5 years in retirement. During this time, any changes or mistakes that you make in your 401k could potentially derail your entire retirement plan. Anything from allocation changes, contributions, withdrawals, taxes, timing, everything matters so much more right now. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to be talking about the delicate decade, what makes it so unique and also so risky for your 401k plan. Your allocation, do you need to change it according to your age or can you leave it? Tax traps to avoid or income strategies to gain. Withdrawals, do you need to plan for that before you actually start making these withdrawals? And then finally, we'll go over income strategy and we'll show you a couple of other things to think about. Stick around to the end and I'll walk you through some real life examples. Super simple, super easy to follow. Why this decade matters most. During this time, you've spent so many years growing, hopefully growing your portfolio, being aggressive in your retirement plan, knowing that you're saving for the long term and not the short term. So during this time, you don't want to necessarily run the risk of keeping that aggressive allocation up until the day that you retire. Because we've seen it before. People want to retire next year. Oh no, 2022 happens, the market goes down, and now you're down 24% in your portfolio. So you don't necessarily want to keep that allocation change. There are some things that you want to do during this time. Think of it this way. You've been flooring it on the financial racetrack your entire career. Growth, growth, growth being your main objective, which is what you should have been doing. Now you're in the last lap, you want to ease into it and make sure that your tires don't fall off before you cross the finish line. That's what the delicate decade is all about, making sure that what you've done, you're keeping and that you don't mess up your next plan. The rule of thumb has always been when you're younger, you want to be super aggressive with your retirement plan because you have the most time to grow your money. And then when you're older, you want to make sure that you're being conservative because you've spent all that time growing your money and you don't want to lose it. Your asset mix shouldn't necessarily be always based on your age though. It should be based on when you think you'll actually use the money. You want to break your account into time-based buckets. Bucket number 1 is going to be years 1 through 3. It's going to be based on safety. So it's going to be invested in cash, maybe some bonds, money markets, high-yield savings. Bucket number 2 is going to be focused on years 4 through 10, where you want to see moderate growth and lower volatility. And then lastly, bucket 3 is going to be 10 years plus. Okay, so this is where you want to be aggressive with your investments and try to get the most growth that you can. Be careful with target date funds. I know right when you get into your employer's plan, you'll probably be put into a target date fund based off of when they think you'll retire. So if you start young, they're going to put you in a target date fund based off of 30 years from your hire date, 30 or 35 years. And it's going to be very aggressive from the start. But be careful because every year after that, it's going to slowly become a little bit more conservative. So if you want to be super passive in your allocation, then target date funds are good because it's a set and forget kind of a thing. But if you want to have more control, put yourself in the driver's seat, then you can control your own allocation and invest in the other mutual funds and be as aggressive as you want until you get to the delicate decade. So your last 5 years while you're working. Ask yourself, will you need to tap into your 401k right away? Are you going to be using that as income the first year in retirement? Or are you going to have your dream retirement job, like myself? I would love to be a starter at a golf course. That's going to kind of carry me to my Social Security years. Or do you just have other income that you'll be using until you need to break into your 401k account? You want to plan now for how much you'll need in retirement. So take a look at your expenses, see how much you're spending on an annual basis. But remember, you're no longer contributing to retirement. So whatever percentages that you're contributing to your retirement plan, take that out of your expenses and then plan for what you'll need every single year in retirement. Consider a Roth conversion before claiming Social Security or triggering RMDs, and also think in layers, not just what's in the account, but when you're going to be using each layer in retirement. Think of retirement income like you're building your own retirement paycheck. You wouldn't just go into work one day and ask your boss to give you whatever's left, right? You want to make sure that you have consistency and you want to plan for what income you're going to want. RMDs can create tax spikes starting at age 73 if your 401k is too large. A Roth conversion can kind of help smooth that tax burden if used and done correctly, which I've actually talked about in my previous episode. The IRS isn't going to send you flowers, but they will for sure send you a tax bill, especially if you aren't taking your RMDs when you should be. Here are some real world examples. Beth and Mike are in their early 60s and they retire with $700,000. They build a 3-year income plan based off of stable assets, and over the next 2 years, they convert $100,000 of their retirement plan into a Roth. This kind of helps them align their Social Security with their income need. The point of this is their stress goes down and their flexibility goes up because they have set a plan. Here's another example. Raymond, who's 58 right now, has $2.2 million in retirement assets and plans to retire at age 64. He buckets his assets, staggers Roth conversions to reduce his RMD exposure, and leaves gross investments untouched for 5 years. His retirement paycheck is smooth, predictable, planned, and tax smart. The delicate decade is all about preparation. You want to make sure that you don't lose any of the growth that you'd made while you were working, but then also you want to set forth a plan that's going to generate income and help you with your tax burden. Think in time buckets, anticipate taxes, set a plan, and talk to somebody if you need help with any of this. Remember, your 401k plan is like a race car. The delicate decade is you taking your foot off the gas and easing into the pit stop. But don't park, you've still got miles left to go. I'm Tommy Warner, and this has been Tommy 2 Cents. Take it easy.